Hi, everyone. My name is Sharon Pearson. I'm an actress, and I was a guest on the Keith Andrews Show. Guys, you have to check it out. I had a great time. It's on YouTube and other areas. But you have to check out this episode so you can get to learn more about the Keith Andrews Network. You heard it here first.
The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can sell them out to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. Never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are, who you're going to be. Just prove to them, sell them out to something. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That's right, the Keith Andrew Network, available on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and all social medias. Make sure to like and subscribe because our goal for every single episode is to reach 500 to 1,000 views. So like a comment, leave a comment for me, our guests. We would love to interact with you. And the more views the episode gets, the more it says we're doing a good job. With that being said, the first subject is it's Wednesday. And you know what that means? It's Wednesday Fight Night. AEW Wrestling available on TBS Wrestling. Also tonight, it's episode number 18. You know what that means? 18 is brought to you by WrestleMania 18. So the question I want to ask you, back in 2002, what were you doing?
Ooh, wow. What was I doing back in 2002? I don't even know. Can't even think back that far. Trying to remember.
For me, I was in middle school.
Let me see. You said 2002 or 2002?
Yes,
I was
2002.
probably, I know I was working somewhere. I can't remember where. I think I might have been working at a company called PricewaterhouseCoopers accounting firm, I believe. I think that's what I was doing in 2002. Yeah.
So the first question I want to, well, for me in 2002, I was just getting done with middle school. I was about 14 years old. I'm getting ready to go into high school, and that was a real trip. 4 years of hell on that one. But yeah, you win some, you lose some. But let me ask you, how was your high school experience? You know, for me, I
Okay.
was picked on by the students and teachers. How did you survive it?
Well, I was kind of picked on too, in high school. I like to escape, so I got into like activities. I got into the student government and things like that. So it wasn't as bad as it started initially, but I mean it was okay. But like I said, got kind of picked on and teased, because I wanted to be a cheerleader like my sister. And then my sister had already left, but then when I got there, the girls, they weren't very nice, a lot of them, because they were looking for a particular kind of look, and I didn't fit that look that they were looking for, so
No, I hear
it was a
you.
little difficult.
But or do you miss
Yeah.
it sometimes, or are you happy you got out?
I mean, I had some fun times because I like sports, so I liked going to the sports games, but I'm kind of glad. Yeah. I don't miss it too much now.
Now, my freshman year, I failed every single class. I even failed gym because I refused to
Oh,
change in the locker room. Well, I guess self-conscious on that part. But
well, you know what? I don't blame you because people can be so mean and cruel. People don't realize how mean and cruel they are. Well, sometimes they do, and it's sad. They just don't care. But that was a big thing. Some of the things they used to make people wear. I don't know what they made you wear when you were going to school. Back in my day, I and I can't believe it to this day. The girls had to wear these blue things. They look like jumpsuits. They remind me of a bathing suit almost. These blue um uniforms. So I really didn't like it. Matter of fact, when you get off the phone, you can Google and see the back in the day gym uniforms for girls. I just can't believe it. They definitely would not be able to get over wearing those today for sure. Yeah,
Well, there are some schools
not
that
at
have.
all.
There was a time where they actually thought about having school uniforms, and I was thinking, look, this is not Nazi Germany. I'm not gonna wear a uniform. But
Right, but it was the kind of these uniforms. I didn't have a problem with wearing it, but a uniform, so to speak, with the way the uniforms were made.
yeah,
Like if you were certain, you would feel made you feel very self conscious. The girls, the boys, they just wore shorts, but the girls, these uniforms, I hated them.
for me, I like to have my privacy. So when I was forced to change for gym, I used to find a bathroom stall and I'm like, oh, this is my little office now.
Right. I mean, nobody wants to get dressed in front of everybody. I mean, unless you're an exhibitionist, then you don't care. you know.
That's true. I didn't actually think about it like that.
Right.
The only thing that got me through my freshman year was the fact my brother's friends didn't really graduate, or maybe they were held back. I'm not gonna throw stones, but they took a liking to me, and that was the only saving
Yes.
grace. I realized I wanted to jump out the freaking window because my freshman year
Oh
sucked, and
no.
I did a lot of stupid things.
Mm.
What about you?
Hmm.
What do you remember from your freshman year?
Freshman year in high school. Well, I mean, I had a couple of friends that I was really close with. There were these two girls. They were twins, Latina and Regina Collins, and they were really cool. Beautiful girls, and I used to have a lot of fun with them. We'd hang out on the weekends. I would spend the night over their house and things like that. I mean, I was excited to be there, but at the same time, I was nervous too, because it was new to me. So yeah.
Now, my brothers and my sisters, well, I have one sister and four brothers. They always had
Oh,
their friends over, and they always say, Keith, don't do anything stupid, don't embarrass me.
oh,
But the one time I had someone over, it was like a friggin' free-for-all. And it's like, well,
no,
is my friend hanging out with me, or is he hanging out with you?
no,
So it's kind of
wow.
like, I never had any friends to hang out with.
Mm,
But anyway, it's
wow.
not about me. But the next, I
Right.
have the top 14 questions I want to ask you. So the
Okay.
first one I want to ask you, and this subject
Okay.
is about your career. So the first one I want to
Okay.
talk to you about is actually I'm holding the wrong card. I have the producing questions.
Okay. Hey.
So the first one I want to ask you is, so who inspired you to start your career?
Mm. Let's see. My career in acting or my other job.
Oh, and your acting career.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. The phone is ringing. I apologize for that in the background. My acting career, well, initially when I started acting, it was like an escape for me. The escape from all stuff that was going on in my life, and then I started to like it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I
Well,
enjoy being behind the camera, in front of the camera, in front
so
of the camera. Yeah.
So the next one I want to ask you, well, what attracted you to begin your acting career?
Mm. There was an audition when I was in junior high school for a play, and I said, you know what? I think I can do that. So I applied. I got the role, and then I said, "Hey, I can do this. I really enjoy doing this." You know, for me, it wasn't so much to be famous because some people they want to be actors and actresses because they want to be famous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want my name to be out there, but I enjoy what I'm doing. So even if I don't ever make it to Hollywood or whatever, it's not gonna break me. You know, I still enjoy acting. I love it.
With
You
everything
know,
that, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you're good. Go ahead.
With everything that you accomplished in your career, what are some of your greatest achievements?
Well, one of my greatest achievements was someone needed a person for a film short, like it was a short notice, like literally they were filming the next day at like 6:30 in the morning, and I got a call at like 11:30, 11:45, and asked me if I could help them out. Um, I did. I was able to memorize my lines, so that was a big deal to get this notice at 11:30 and 11:45, and for them to actually be filming it literally the next day at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I had my lines memorized. So that was a big achievement for me.
Now, the next one I want to talk to you about, it's really cool. As we're talking, we have special effects on the green, on the screen. I'm thinking green like money. So on the
Uh-huh.
screen, it's going to be breaking the glass ceiling. I want you to be brutally honest with everything that
Okay.
you accomplish in your acting. Sorry, having a brain fart. With everything that you accomplish in your acting career, life growing up, I bet you had to deal with a lot of stereotypes and breaking the glass ceiling, and people size you up. And I've been in there too. And so,
Definitely.
but like I said, this is not about me, just about you. When you broke
Right.
through the glass ceiling of that whole stereotype of BS, what
Mhm.
were the positives and what were the negatives that you had to face?
Well, one of the positives was just not letting it get me down, like not letting it get me down, Um um Negative is sometimes when you speak out against these things that happen, people want to call you bitter, jealous, hateful and things like that. But I mean, you have to speak out about about treatment. People should be treated fairly on set. I don't care if you're like a background. Background is important. A lot of movies would not be what they are if not for the background. And sometimes you get treated a certain way. And then the flip side is sometimes people think you're when they think you're going to speak a certain way. You know what I mean? Or they think you should speak a certain way because of how you look. I found issues in situations with, for example, with hair. Like there was this one particular role that I wanted to go out for, and under the description it said it was like no weaves, no um ombre hair. Now ombre hair, that's like two different color hair, two different colors. But I mean, all kinds of people wear it, but it's a lot of African American women that wear it. So in a sense, it was kind of like to me, like you're saying, okay, you know, you're weeding, you're trying to weed certain people out without saying you're weeding people out, if you know what I mean. So, it happens in the industry. People don't believe there's sexism, racism in the industry. I mean, I still love the industry, but it's it happens. It's there, and a lot of times people don't want to speak on it, because they're afraid that if I speak on it, if they speak on it, then they won't, get roles or they'll get blackballed. You know, I mean, it's not like you're saying somebody's the devil, you know what I mean, or something like that. But it's just honest. It's honest. I
Now
mean,
you're
that's how I feel.
No, you're absolutely right. There's times where I've been stereotyped where it's like, oh, as soon as I say I have a disability, I give me an example. As soon as I say I have a disability, this one store I worked at doesn't make a difference.
Uh-huh.
It's not going back to them. And they're like, oh, I
Hmm.
want to become a manager. And they're like, okay, well,
Hmm.
here's the combination to the. I worked at Toys R Us before they closed.
Hmm.
And the guys were like, okay, you want to be a manager? Open the safe. It was either North Face or Toys R Us. I don't remember. But the point is, they said,
Hmm.
oh, I think it was Toys R Us. Anyway,
Hmm.
it's the same shit wherever you go. So they're like, open the
Right.
safe. Okay, what's the combination? Because it had numbers on
Right.
it. They're like, oh, no, it's
Right.
not a number thing. You have to turn it. It's a combination lock. And I hate those freaking things
Yeah,
with
but
passion. And I'm like, well,
right.
wait. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's just like it's like when they tell you stuff like that, but I mean it's a combination of luck, but you gotta have a combination. You gotta have a combination to turn it.
Yeah, so this had both on it. It was like numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it also
Right.
had a key in it. And also there's a round a knob on it. So I'm like, oh, well, I can't open a combination. Well, we can't open combination locks. How do you expect to be a manager then? And
That's wrong. It's almost like they were doing it on purpose.
yeah. So no, they done
You know?
exactly. I worked over at Saks Fifth. Not that I can tell you the story if you want to
Uh-huh.
hear it, but I was pretty much set up to fail from the start. But let me ask you that question. Have you ever walked into a
Hmm.
position, and not in that way, obviously, but have you ever walked into any position where you like, you know what? I set myself up to fail.
Um, in one of my former jobs by not um asking questions that I should have asked, but because the and there's not an excuse really, but because of the way people were treating me, because they were all friends and they had a camaraderie. So when I got there, it was like I'm odd man out. So there were some mistakes that I made, and I didn't have to make them. I should have just cared about their petty you know stuff and ask questions. So it didn't go well.
Now, for me, and
It did not go well.
for me, I was told I was never gonna work for this job anymore, so I actually don't give a shit. Freedom of speech.
Right.
Pretty much, I worked for Sac Fifth Avenue, and I went for it.
Uh-huh. I remember that.
I made a whole list of jobs hiring just for cashiers. I did, that's all I wanted to be, and they're like, "Oh, we're not hiring right now."
Right.
So the guy called me back a couple days later. Oh, I really like you, but we don't have any positions for you. So I'm gonna make one up for you. All right.
Oh, wow.
Well, you're gonna
Mm.
be, that's what I thought. And I'm like, oh well, you're gonna be operation supervisor. I wasn't really a supervisor, like
Okay.
operation manager or whatever the hell it was.
Okay.
And which I call you, what's my job? You come in the morning, 8 in the morning. You gotta clean the
Mm.
windows. You gotta clean the back room,
Okay.
clean the break room. So pretty much, I was a custodian. I'm like, okay, I have no problem
Okay.
being a janitor. I went to West Point.
Okay.
I got trained as that, and went
Right.
in. The job was already done. They didn't need me. I'm like, well, if you're gonna have people doing the job for me, why
Mhm.
am I here? And so they're like, oh,
Right.
well, you're gonna work stock. Meanwhile, the back room is a complete mess. So I'm like, I didn't agree to be a stock worker. I agreed I would
Exactly.
be a cashier because they needed cashiers, and or
Right.
I'm gonna do maintenance. So there, it's funny, but it's not funny. There's a woman named Karen, and
Hmm.
she was a real Karen. Go figure on that one, right? So
Right. That's funny.
So she did not like me from the moment she saw me. She did not want
Sad.
me to work there. She did not want me to get hired. She said I was a
Oh, wow.
mistake. So she used to talk down to
Oh
me and
wow. How
say,
rude.
and she used it's the fact that she pointed this out by really antagonized me because she used to do this in front of people. All right, Keith,
Wow.
we're gonna do this now. Okay. We're going to pick up the table. All right, here we go. And I'm looking around, it's like, you know what? Someone really needs to backhand this person because she's
Mhm.
embarrassing. And I should have never worked her. That was my fault. I was stupid. And I'm like, you know what,
Well, no,
guys?
because you were told one thing. No, you're not. You weren't stupid because you were told one thing, right? And then when you got there, it was a whole nother thing. It was, you know what I mean? It was totally different situation. That's not what they told you were gonna get hired for, you know?
And the guy was guilt tripping
So
me
this
because
that
I threatened to quit multiple times. Oh, don't quit. I put myself on the whim for you. Oh, my manager what gave me hell when I hired you. So after like the fifth time, I said, I don't want to be here. He said, don't even bother
mhm.
coming back. And I said, that's fine. I'm not coming back.
Okay.
Anyway,
Don't expect to see you back.
that's true. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm snobby. You know, I do want to become rich, but there's a lot of people, oh, I wear these 35. I went into one store and they're selling a shirt for or jacket for 3,600. And I swear to God, I
What?
got physically sick when I saw that. My thing is, if I become rich, I'm going to pay off my taxes, I pay off medical insurance, and I'm going to sit on that money. I'm not going to piss it away because the best way to
Yeah, that's
stay rich is to shop poor.
okay. I like that. I'm gonna use that. The best way to stay rich is to shop for. I'm gonna use that line.
No, because it's true. Because look, I don't
No, it's
drive.
true. No, but I like it.
Well, let me ask you:
And you don't have,
if you became rich, what are the do's and don'ts that you're gonna do?
well, do pay off all my bills, um, help my family out. Don't is spend it all up on stupid stuff. You know what I mean? I love to travel, so that's definitely not stupid. I'll definitely be traveling, but don't just be spending it just to be spending it on like, frivolous stuff. It's going to be okay to like buy some nice things, but don't just constantly spend, spend, spend. You have to save it,
That's true.
you know?
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'll give you an example. I used to work over in Tuxedo Park. And I always
Okay.
said to my dad, maybe one day I can buy a house like this. And he said,
Hmm.
first off, not to hurt your feelings, but you need to get your head out of your ass because
Oh, wow.
Tuxedo Park is pretty much like, if you had to compare it to anything,
Okay.
have you ever been to New York?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like the Hamptons on Long Island. It's kind of like Beverly Hills. It's the rich
Okay.
people. Here's an example. Whoopi Goldberg supposedly lives in Tuxedo Park.
Okay,
There's a co
what city is Tuxedo Park in?
Oh, New York.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So in New York. Okay.
And so these houses are like, if you have a company, if you have
Hmm.
a startup, if you're on TV, because these are rich people. I do have a funny story about Whoopi Goldberg I can tell you off the air. But these are a couple $1 million houses. They're really nice. And these are the type of
Okay.
houses, if you look at they go back to what, the 18th century, give or take, in the
Okay.
1800s. So these are in the
Wow.
family, passed down from generation to generation.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Nice.
this one person that I used to talk to, see, he had a servant's bathroom, and I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
and then I was angry, and I said, "Well, it's a servant's bathroom," and it's like, "Oh, so he has maids and everything." I'm like, well. I wish I had that, but I like to do things myself, and I'm not crippled.
Me too. Right.
But
Yeah.
but I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the last one I want to ask you
Sure.
is social media. How can people get in touch with you,
Mm.
and what are some of your favorite social media websites?
Okay. People can get in touch with me on Instagram at Shay48. Um, and on Facebook, Sharon Pearson. And yeah, that's it. And my favorite social media site, I don't think I have a particular favorite one. I just kind of like to, you know, just kind of surf. So I can't say I really have a favorite one, so to speak. I just like surf. I mean, you know what? I like TikTok. TikTok has some hilarious stuff on there. I think they're funny.
There,
Facebook is getting, I mean, I like Facebook for some things, but Facebook is getting kind of, I don't know, kind of bizarre. That's the only way I can put it. I don't know. It's not like how it used to be when it first started out, you know. It's a little, because they're always changing stuff around. So, 1 minute is one way, and then the next minute is another way. So, yeah, it's really like, yeah, you know,
no,
it's not the same.
absolutely. Now, my last question for you, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached
Okay.
you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say
Mhm.
yes? How do you feel now, and would you recommend it to other people?
Okay. What made me say yes? Um, I guess because everybody, I never heard of your show before, but I feel as though, I mean, you gotta get to know people. And and I had a good feel for you, or otherwise I would have been like, I don't know about him, he's a stalker, something like that. But I didn't get that feel from you. You know what I mean? I think I'm a pretty good, I think I have a pretty good sense of people. Um, I enjoy doing the show because I like talking, as you can see. And I think people need to put themselves out there. You put yourself out there.
Oh, actually, I want to ask you
And
for
I like
your,
that. I mean,
but we
right.
can save that for part two. We will definitely do a part two.
You
But
definitely have to do part two.
but wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part two. Until we meet again, I catch you later.
Oh my.